Today we've got completely clear blue skies. There is not a cloud in sight. I had two choices. I could stay at home, which I was tempted to do, or I could come out and try and find something to shoot. Will I be successful? At this point I have absolutely no idea. We'll have to see. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do and you're not already a subscriber, then please consider hitting subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. In today's video I'm not planning to shoot at sunset because we've got completely clear blue skies and sunset's going to be boring. But what it might mean is we get some nice light, you know, an hour or so before sunset while we've got direct light on the scene. So I've come out today to this particular location because I heard a rumour. And the rumour I heard is that the water levels in this reservoir have risen to very high levels. Probably the highest levels that we've seen since the spring of 2016. And it's true, because behind me you can see this little bridge here. And if we spin you around you can see there's a main road bridge over there. And they've actually got water underneath. And that's the first time I've seen water under there since the spring of 2016. Over the winter of 2015 going into 2016 we had a lot of rain. There was snow on the mountains and the water levels in the reservoirs came up a lot and these areas filled in with water. But since the spring, maybe the summer of 2016, they've been bone dry. So I think there's an opportunity to get some shots here, maybe featuring these bridges with the water underneath. I've just got to find a suitable composition for one or both of them. So I'm going to explore around first of all this little bridge, and then I'm going to go up and have a look at the bigger road bridge and just see if I can find something that's worth shooting. As I said, it'll be somewhat before sunset. Okay, so I've walked up the road and across the main road bridge, which has got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 arches. From this side I'm not seeing anything, but I'm going to have a look over the other side as well, just to see if there's a scene that appeals to me. At the moment I'm favouring the small bridge, which I was looking at earlier, which is only like one arch. It's still not going to be the easiest composition because I can't get anywhere down near to the water except in one place, and unfortunately that one place there's a big fence which is blocking any possible composition. So I'm probably going to have to shoot it from higher up. Okay, so I've come down the other side of the bridge. You can see the bridge out there behind me. It's not being washed out by the bright light. There's a path that comes down the side. But again, I can't get down low to the water to get a good view of the bridge. There's a few possible shots from up there, but they're high up. It's difficult to get a clear view without something that's not going to make good foreground blocking the view. And actually the view through the bridge isn't very appealing. So if you're going to have the bridge kind of framing something, you want it framing something that looks quite pretty, and that's just not happening here. I did manage to find my way down to this kind of, I don't know what it is, this thing that sticks out here. It kind of dead ends just behind me here. And I did wonder if that might give me an interesting vantage point, but it chops off too much of the bridge. And again, the view through the bridge isn't very appealing. Sometimes it's a struggle to know exactly how to shoot a scene. I feel there's potential here for an image. Maybe not a great image, but hopefully a nice image. But I'm just kind of struggling to work out how to make the most of it. It's not just a case of the position of either of the bridges in the frame. It's how that bridge, which is probably going to be the main focal point of the image, but it's how that bridge combines with the other elements in the frame. And every composition I'm finding at the moment, I just don't like the way the other elements are falling. I started walking down this trail here, seeing if I could get another viewpoint on it, but because the water level's so high, it's completely flooded along this trail, so I won't be going down there. Okay, I've got one idea so far. I've got a vantage point quite high up. The bridge is over there, and then sticking up above it, you've got some mountains. Basically what you've got is over to the left hand side of the frame, you've got part of the Sierra Aitana, which is actually the tallest mountain range in this part of Spain, but it's not particularly impressive to look at. But also up there we've got El Castellet's Ridge, and the end of it is quite a nice sort of jagged peak. So what I'm kind of thinking is probably telephoto shot, maybe 70 or 80 millimeters, with the bridge in the bottom of the frame, or maybe a bit of water in the bottom of the frame, then the bridge, then the ridge and the mountains kind of over the top. That's one possible image. I did consider trying to find a way to shoot through the bridge and have El Castellet's Ridge, trying to make sure I've got some light on me, trying to have El Castellet's Ridge framed by the bridge, but doesn't matter how low down to the water I get, I cannot make it happen. So that's one possible image. I think I've probably got 45 minutes to an hour still before I have to absolutely make a shot. Okay, I've set up my composition. Basically what I've got right in the bottom of the frame is water. Now I'm hoping we might get some, if not proper reflections, at least a little bit of reflections, because I'm doing a long exposure. The bridge is running across the middle of the frame, and I've got basically all of the arches of the bridge in. Above that you've got the mountains in the background and the end of Castellet's Ridge over there, El Castellet's Ridge over there. 70 to 200 lens on, f11, ISO 64. I'm focused actually on El Castellet's Ridge, but I've checked that the bridge is also sharp. I've got a 10 stop ND filter in, and at the moment that's letting me get 20 or 30 seconds. I'm playing it safe, and I've done a shot at 30 seconds and a shot at 20 seconds. 20 seconds the highlights aren't blowing out, and at 30 seconds just a few of them might be. So I'll just play it safe. I can always use whichever one looks best when I get it back into Lightroom. The long exposure's smoothing the water out quite nicely, and it's creating those kind of blurry reflections that you can get with a long exposure. Composition I'm having to be really careful with because there's distracting elements on both sides, so I've really had to position myself really carefully to make this work, if it does. Okay, so the sun's dropping now. We are still actually 35 minutes, no, 40 minutes before sunset, but we've actually already lost the light off of the bridge. The bridge is now completely in shadow, all of the foreground is in shadow. But the light on the mountains in the background and on El Castellet's Ridge is actually nicer now than it was before. So I'm getting the shadow of the microphones because I'm trying not to point you at the sun and have some light on my face. Because that light is nicer, I'm carrying on shooting some images. I could consider compositing this image. You know, maybe have one nice shot with some light on the bridge and a shot with some nice light on the mountains. Yeah, it's not exactly true to life, but you know, sometimes you have to do these things to try just make something a little bit different. We're now about 20 minutes before official sunset. We've still got some quite nice light out on those mountains over in the background there, the end of El Castellet's Ridge. I've taken the ND filter out now and I'm just shooting shorter exposures because I don't need a long exposure on the background because there's nothing moving up there. There's no clouds to blur. It was only the foreground that I needed it on. And the foreground now is actually pretty boring because all the light's gone off of it. So I've taken the ND filter out because I do think I'm going to end up compositing this with one long exposure for the foreground and one either long or short exposure, depending on which one I think's got the best light for that background with the mountains. We're getting the last of the light now on El Castellet's Ridge. The bottom of the ridge is now in shadow. It's only the top that's the top 2/3, and in the next couple of minutes that'll disappear. I'm going to take maybe one more shot and then I'm going to pack up and head for home. Okay, that's it guys, all the light's gone now, it's all over. I'm packing up, getting ready to head for home. Plus I left it was so warm earlier I forgot I'd left my fleece in the car, so I'm starting to get a bit chilly now the sun's gone. I've got no idea really how this has worked out. I've either got maybe one nice image, you know, a single exposure that's come out nice, or I might be able to do something, as I said, with doing some compositing, putting a couple of images together. Or maybe I've got nothing, I don't know. It's a job to say. Normally I've got some idea, but today I really don't know. But I've been out and about, that's the main thing. Whatever I've got, I'll show you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please consider hitting that thumbs up, give it a like, sharing it on social media, leaving me a comment, and of course, if you're not a subscriber, just hitting that subscribe button. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, so thank you very much. And until the next video, bye.